On January 13th, we will have our full moon in Cancer. We will also have that full moon be pretty much conjunct Mars retrograde, which is freshly re-ingressed back into Cancer. The day before this full moon, on January 12th, the North Node will be officially in Pisces. And yes, we also have Venus freshly ingressed into Pisces as well, in which she is now exalted. So guys, we are in a very big shift of consciousness and of emotion this month. And I said that pretty much in my last video, in which I detailed some of the stuff that we're going to be experiencing this month, honestly. And this full moon is very much front and center with the Mars retrograde story, because like all full moons, something that was once hidden will be revealed to us, right? On the world stage, I can probably talk for hours on how we're going to see so many things unfold. Not in detail, of course, but I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science to look at the chaos and the emotional deterioration of government, of certain politicians, for example. People who once thought that they would have power now slowly realizing they're going to lose it. And then also, again, just the scrambling nature of people who are doing things within the government sphere that are just extremely emotional right now. And everybody is just all over the place all at once, right? So that being said, we are dealing with a very intense month of emotion, right? And I feel what's interesting about this year as we head into the age of fire and air, and like we discussed before, the age of fire and air is Neptune going into Aries, and of course Uranus going into Gemini, with Pluto being the anchor of the air fire age. So we're talking about very, very powerful shifts in consciousness, very, very powerful shifts in our own lives, because each and every one of us leading up to this point, and I think as we've gotten through the COVID years, by the way, I think when Saturn got into Aquarius and kind of really restricted everybody and really kind of taught us some massive lessons about the world and also ourselves by being in a very, very interesting position where we kind of were stuck in place and reassessing the structures of our world, we were also reassessing the structures of our lives. So this Pluto and Aquarius moment, with everything from here on forth that we will experience on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis, and honestly, as we move forward in the years to come, we are talking about individual transformation and shifts that we must take seriously. And I feel every single person on this planet right now is definitely in some kind of unique situation within their own life, and they have a massive opportunity to shift with the world and transform with the world. Otherwise, you will be left behind. I think that is just simple history kind of showing us that has happened before, right? Just think, the revolution, the Industrial Revolution totally left a whole bunch of people behind because they could not move forward with the new ideas and visions of the future. We are in that moment right now in a very big way. In January, this month really does begin something unique, special, for ourselves and our lives, and of course what goes on in the world. And to have such a shift, to have such water activation this month, I think is very important, because we also, again, have an historic Mars retrograde on our hands, and we are going to be detailing what Cancer shows us again in our lives, because we were feeling what Mars and Cancer was doing to us in pretty much late September all the way through October. So we should already kind of have a gauge on like what Mars and Cancer is all about. But again, as time moves on, we still go through new things all the time, and there's new stories popping up out of the ground every single day, and especially in my life, guys, in Cancer. So this Mars retrograde is bringing me new stories, aside from kind of going back in time to when Mars was transiting Cancer direct in the fall. But this moment with Venus in Pisces, with the full moon that will illumine something within the Mars retrograde story now, I think is extremely important to put under a microscope, to study, and to see what is being asked of you, because there's always a question being asked in astrology, and it is us to realize what that question is so we can answer it to the best of our ability. And when we can answer what the astrology is really trying to show us and teach us, this is where the retrograde fine-tuning of our lives is really most clear. Right? Because to me, retrogrades are fine tunings. And this Mars retrograde, again, front and center with the full moon activation, front and center with this new shift into the age of Pisces over the next year, right? With the nodes there, with the eclipses coming very soon for Pisces. And yes, we are going to be dealing with a lot more Pisces energy over the next couple of months. So I really just want to get cozy with you guys today. You know how I roll here. I like getting cozy. I'll talk about stuff, how I'm experiencing astrology maybe. We'll talk about the world. We'll talk about the psycho-spiritual nature of these transits. And, we just like to sit and have chats here. So if you are new to the channel, my name is Joe Theodore. I'm an astrologer. And if you enjoy this video, maybe consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and liking the video and leaving a comment, because all of that would mean a lot to me. It helps the algorithm share my videos. And yeah, when it comes to the comments, I love reading them. So guys, this full moon is very special to me. And as many of you know, full moons to me reveal something that was once hidden. And new moons, in my opinion, birth something. That's why new moons are beautiful for planting seeds. New moons are beautiful for setting intentions. And of course, wherever these house topics, themes of life are in your birth chart is where the stories are playing out, So, I can constantly reflect on my life and go, you know what? Yeah, this full moon happening in my 9th house actually is going to be revealing a lot of stuff involving my work around spiritual subjects, even astrology, and just, again, a lot of stuff that is even deeply emotional in nature. I'm even thinking about traveling soon. So there's even a lot of how do I take the proper actions and movements in my work, in my spiritual practice, in some beliefs that I'm reworking out right now in my spiritual life. And also, how can I find a way to travel properly? I'm trying to plan a trip, or at least getting the beginning stages set in stone for planning this trip. So I feel this full moon, again, is going to bring me a lot of things. And I think that this is the beautiful part of full moons, is you just never know what actually is going to get revealed to you. But at the same time, I feel there's going to be a lot of emotion packed into this, right? And we're dealing with Mars being there, like I said earlier. So Mars is going to bring that level of assertiveness and wanting to take action on stuff, wanting to know the answers to things, wanting to move forward, when maybe we just need to kind of sit a little bit more still and sink in to emotions and to feelings, right? And honestly, I've been getting a lot into my feels lately. I think a lot of us have been getting into our feels, getting into our emotions. And there's an element of frustration to that too, guys. And I think we have to be honest with some of the things that we're feeling. And I can tell you just again, from my experience, even going through the fall, there's a lot of stuff that comes up when you're feeling emotionally frustrated, when you can't figure out a problem, when you can't figure out maybe something that you want to believe in, right? Again, I'm not going to go in too much into my story, but there's a lot of emphasis right now in my life on belief and the higher realms of understanding, and sort of getting frustrated with some intuition that I feel I can't totally be clear on, right? So in the 9th house for me of Cancer, I feel like I'm really just sort of at sometimes throwing my hands up and going, listen, I don't know what to do right now. I don't know how to go about a certain situation, but I just really hope I can get the wisdom and guidance to move forward, right? And I think when it comes to Cancer energy, that emotion really can get kind of kicked up, right? And I feel Cancer wants to feel comforted and nurtured. Cancer wants to feel at home, right? And sometimes I feel when we're dealing with Mars in Cancer, we can get very emotionally frustrated. We can even act upon our emotions in ways that aren't desirable, right? When was the last time you acted out of emotion that could have been a little bit of aggressive or a little bit passionate, and maybe it came out the wrong way? I can remember so many times in my life where you just sort of are acting upon emotion, then you say the wrong things out of emotion. So I think when we deal with this transit with a Mars retrograde especially, we're going to be dealing with, I think, again, the things that we're working out in our life, the things that we are trying to re-strengthen and restructure, because again, I think Mars is all about restructuring and re-strengthening, because Mars wants to move, Mars wants to act, Mars wants to, bring things into this world in a very physical and assertive way, in a passionate way. And this retrograde is still teaching us a lot. There is still a lot of fine tuning that I think needs to be accomplished here. And we're going to see more of this all the way through February 25th. So this Mars retrograde is going to be here for a while still, right? That is a massive chunk of the winter. And this full moon, I think, is a very pivotal moment where something will be brought to us, right? Whether good or bad, whether we need a dose of truth in the face or not, whether we need to just sort of continue on a journey of like, hey, maybe I just need to wait a little bit longer. Maybe I'm not going to figure out this problem I have right now. Maybe I need to sink more deeply into things that are going to provide me nourishment and comfort. Maybe I just need to heal this winter, like maybe we're all going to figure out at some point in our life, in that part of your life, in that house topic, like maybe that's a surrender moment, honestly, this full moon. Because I know for myself, I've been battling through this Mars retrograde and honestly kind of getting some good results by still putting the work and the daily actions I need in that particular part of my life, especially that Mars was just in Leo for me. So again, I'm in a very big like career axis. I'm dealing with a lot of spiritual stuff with the ninth house. I'm dealing with a lot of deeper emotional, spiritual insights, for example. Kind of just figuring out how to maybe even merge more of my spiritual nature with my career, doing YouTube and a lot of social media stuff right now. I feel like this is a big moment for me to be tying into my Mars retrograde story. And this full moon may teach me a lot of things. I know I've been really working really hard, but sometimes I feel like, hey, I need a rest. Like I need to heal, right? I need to take some time off maybe, or I need to find like a deeper spiritual practice that can help me get through this winter. Because trust me, guys, there are some days where I just want to blow the lid and I just want to, say some wild shit to people who I don't really want to upset, or whatever the case may be. Or sometimes I even want to talk about things. Even with YouTube or some other socials that I'm a part of, where I know maybe I shouldn't dive into that. Maybe I shouldn't express my views on that. So this Mars retrograde is very deep for all of us, guys. And I really want you to even share in the comments, like, what does your Mars retrograde story in Cancer look like for you? Do you have any like intuitive intuitions on how this might manifest for you based upon what you've already been through with Leo? Because again, we're going to be dealing with the Leo Cancer stuff for a long time. And now that we have Venus in Pisces and the North Node Venus in Pisces and the North Node in Pisces, we're very much beginning this month a very sensitive, a very emotional, a very empathic, and beautiful, in my opinion, month for us to, again, help us even go further through the Mars retrograde stuff. So I think having Venus in Pisces right now, and also the nodes shifting signs, there's a lot of activation in certain parts of our lives that can very much merge together and very much aid in, I think, a lot of the insight we may need right now. So I'm very much looking forward to this Venus and Pisces transit, the retrogrades that will be coming in March and going into April, right? The Venus and Mercury stories that will be playing out from March into April with the retrogrades. I'm very interested to explore and kind of meditate on that, to bring some videos to you guys, of course, on that stuff. But these activations from Cancer to Pisces, we're very much entering some new zodiac signs we have not activated in a while, right? Just look at where we've come over the last year. And now we're getting heavy doses of Pisces, and we're getting heavy doses of Cancer right now too. And we're talking about the personal planets. That's why I feel these are going to be more powerful than maybe what we've been experiencing over the last year, of course, with Saturn in Pisces, right? Because we all know what that story's been all about, sustaining us into a new structural way of living in this part of our life, right? In Pisces right now with Saturn. And of course, Neptune finishing its transit. But now we have the personal planets getting involved, right? We have Mars in Cancer, right? And we're revisiting stuff we already did in the fall, but now we're re-experiencing stuff and bringing up new stories with Mars in Cancer. So with the personal planets get activated like this, plus with the nodal shift that is literally beginning all of this month, right? Dealing with Pisces, dealing with a very powerful destiny point in Pisces for us all, we're very much going to be revealed a lot of stuff with this full moon. All right. So this full moon is not just about revealing something with Mars right now, honestly, with your retrograde stuff, but this is very much tied into Pisces. This is very much tied in to all of those activations going on in Pisces, because really Pisces is going to be extremely illuminated and extremely activated, especially with the eclipses, guys. I mean, we're getting hit so powerfully over the next couple of months with water, and this is going to be a very emotional ride for some of us, but a lot of healing can be done too. And that's something else I very much want to emphasize. A lot of healing can be done with the Cancer parts of our lives and the Pisces parts of our lives, okay? And also a lot of heightened sensitivities, a lot of heightened intuition maybe for a lot of us, and a lot of things that can be brought into our lives that are beautiful. Because I think Venus transiting through Pisces is going to bring this element of beauty, right? And creativity for some of us. And creativity doesn't have to mean being artistic, right? This just has to mean like a new way of looking at the world, potentially, a new way of looking at that part of your life. Like, what is Pisces for you? Right? What house, topic, theme of life? Like, what is going on in Pisces? Because also we have to think this nodal moment, these nodal shifts always bring us back to a place where, again, that particular area of our life is going to be like a massive focus on our development in our karmic soul journey, right? Our soul contracts, we are very much in a position right now where it's like, oh, hey guys, Pisces is now focused for your destiny. Like, what massive karmic lesson are we dealing with here on an individual level, and of course on a collective level? But on an individual level, right, we're dealing with an entire nodal transit where that part of your life is in the spotlight in a big way. The massive theme of your life, right? So again, if my Cancer is in the 9th house, my nodal moment coming up is going to be my 5th house of creativity and self-expression and all this stuff. And I mean, if you guys knew me personally, I'm getting very much more creative in my life. I'm tying in creative pursuits with my work, especially in astrology. Outside of astrology, I do a lot of art. So there's a lot going on with me being focused on creativity, expanding my future with creativity, using creative things to become more successful, right? So where is Pisces for you? And along with, all that beautiful stuff, even with Venus, there still could be an element of confusion as well, guys. So I don't discount some of the shadow aspects of these zodiac signs and transits, because we all have blind spots, okay? Even Venus in Pisces, even though she's exalted, we could still be swayed into beautiful things that could be dangerous for us, could be a little illusory for us, a little delusion for us. So we have to be careful when dealing with water signs, in my opinion, too, because there is an element where we can move in directions with our emotions that may not be sound and logical, unfoldments, so to speak. So that's something also to mention right now, my friends, because when we deal with water, we're dealing with beauty, but we're also dealing with beauty, emotions, sensitivities. We're dealing with being vulnerable. We're dealing with feeling, of course, right? But we're also always needing to check in on where are those emotions and feelings leading? Where are they being deposited? Like, where are they growing, right? Because sometimes we got to be careful with how we feel. We got to be careful with what we're feeling and how we're feeling about certain stuff, right? Or where we're putting our emotional care to other people. Are we giving our power away too much with our watery activations? So we have to be careful. There is so much going on with the water stuff in our lives. And I think we have a massive year ahead of us with the Pisces shifts, right? And this is the beginning stages of that. The beginning stages is this ingress of the nodes going into Pisces, literally the day before this full moon. So that's why I'm saying there's a big link. There's something that also could be very much connected to Pisces with this full moon moment. And maybe your retrograde story of Mars is also very much tied to whatever's going on in Pisces for you, and Saturn, because again, Saturn is very much in play here, right? Saturn is huge right now, and we're dealing with trines from the full moon, essentially, even though the full moon will be falling in the 20-degree range, right? Saturn is still, when we do aspects by sign, Saturn is very much going to be affected by this, and Venus as well. So this Pisces Cancer moment this month is very much important to analyze, to feel into, to meditate into. I think this would be a great month to also be meditating more, to staying as calm as possible, to calming the nervous system, because we came from a hell of a 2024, as I said before, in my 2025, or my January 25 forecast. Right? I discussed where we've come from, and we're going to be going into an age of fire and air. So to have this balance at this moment, or this beginning initial phase of water in a powerful way, while also dealing with the nodal, transit as we begin this age of fire and air, we are very much needing to focus on some of the very intense emotional parts of our lives, because any shift in new ages, guys, like any shift of outer planets and this, that, and the other thing, we're dealing with an element of our emotions needing to catch up with what's going on in the world. So there's going to be a lot of emotional upheaval, maybe in your life, maybe not. But in the world stage, just look at what's going on in American politics right now. There is a lot of emotions being stirred up, for example, within the MAGA movement, right? Like, I think as I'm recording this video, there's a lot of infighting. There's like a mini civil war, so to speak, within the GOP and within MAGA and within Elon Musk and all this stuff. I've been trying to track the news lately, and it's wild. Like, and January 6th, when Mars gets back into Cancer, that's January 6th, guys. Like, what is that going to be about, right? To me, I was tracking at some point Mars going back into Trump's 12th house, because he's a Leo rising, and Mars going back into his 12th house. That's something to kind of keep in mind. Like, what's going to happen with him, right? And I'm not trying to get political here, but that's a massive transit. And this full moon and these nodal shifts, right? There's a lot of stuff going on with maybe even Trump in the coming years. A lot of people are saying his health might decline in a big way. Like, who knows? But what I'm telling you is that there's going to be a lot of emotion, confusion, and further delusion in the world as we're shifting into the new age, right? So yes, there's a lot of stuff that is going to be changing in the world. The age of fire and air is very much going to be aiding in this shift forward. But also, in our own life, we are having massive opportunities to shift, to change, to feel again in a big way, and to hopefully not get carried away in the confusion and delusions of the world, which will only get worse, guys. And because honestly, if we cannot become the greatest versions of ourselves in this life, in this moment in time, if we cannot feel into our emotions, if we cannot understand what this Mars retrograde is all about, if we cannot understand that maybe we need a little rest and healing before we can further take action, right, on what we're trying to do with the Mars story, going from Mars back into Leo as it goes direct again into the spring, into the late spring, early summer, right? Because this Mars Cancer Leo stuff is going to be so long that we need to really wrap our heads around on what is happening there for you, because we should really be trying to master what Mars is doing right now. We need to become masters. We need to fine tune. We need to understand what Mars retrograde is showing us. And this full moon is going to very much, in my opinion, because full moons always reveal something to us that we did not know before. And I think that this is going to be either an intuitive knowing or something physical might come into your life. Maybe you'll even be faced with something very emotional, and you'll have to stop. You'll have to stop and go, oh my God, like I need to take a moment here. And again, dealing with whatever Pisces brings up for you, whether this is beautiful and revealing, which honestly with Venus and Pisces, I'm feeling very good about some of the things that will be revealed to us on a personal level, but we're all unique. I understand that. We're all at different ages, right? We're all in different profection years. So there's a lot that could tie in to how these transits really manifest in your life. But the truth is that full moons always reveal something that is once hidden, and this Mars retrograde is right there. This Mars retrograde is right there, and I think that this is very important to keep our eyes on, to meditate on, right? And start meditating from now, right? Start meditating from now. I'm recording this video on January 3rd. Start meditating from now, before January 13th comes, and really try to shine that spotlight on what's going on in Cancer for you. And really feel into what you've been learning with Saturn and Pisces. Because again, the focus of the nodes bringing you a very destined karmic year ahead with eclipses, bringing you some sharp, powerful portals of energy. Okay? And then of course, with the retrogrades coming back, Mercury and Venus going back into Pisces in March, April. This is, Pisces is very much in the story as well, and very much needs to be studied, very much needs to be meditated into, so you can really understand the evolutionary lessons and teachings that you need to grasp. All right, my friends, well, that's all I have for you this week. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe once again. And if you would like to become a member on my Patreon, I offer a lot of things there, including a podcast, a free Sunday podcast called The Cosmos Inside. I also have some paid tiers if you would like to support my work. And if you'd like to book a reading with me and kind of get deeper into your life and what's coming for this coming year, and all of my readings have been like phenomenal lately, my friends, just go to joetheodore.com. All of my links are down below. All right, my friends, that's all I have for you.